Hi everyone! I hope you're doing well at home and I hope you're staying safe. Last week, for our reading lessons, we learned about fairy tales. We read Cinderella and we read Jack and the Beanstalk. This week, we're going to keep working on fairy tales and we're going to read a new one today. But before we get to that, I want to go over fairy tales one more time. Fairy tales have good characters and evil characters. Fairy tales have magic. They have a setting. And they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Today, we're going to focus on setting again. Setting is where the story takes place. So the story could take place at a house, maybe at a park, maybe in a castle, or maybe in the ocean. When we read Jack and the Beanstalk, we figured out that the first setting was at Jack's house, and the second setting was at the giant's castle. We figured that out because when we were reading, we thought about where Jack was the whole time. And in some parts of the story, he was in his house, and other parts, he was in the castle. So today, when we're reading this new fairy tale called Sleeping Beauty, we're going to talk about the setting as we go. We have to pay attention to where Sleeping Beauty is in the story. So here it is. Let me zoom in a little bit. Sleeping Beauty. A long time ago, in a place not too far from here, there lived a king and a queen who were good and kind. The fairies of the land watched over the king and queen as though they were their children. When the king and queen had a baby girl, they invited the fairies to a grand feast where the fairies became godmothers to the princess. The godmothers blessed the princess with beauty, kindness, wisdom, and wit. One fairy was not invited to the feast. She was a mean fairy. When she heard of the celebrations, she put a curse on the princess, saying, "At 18 years old, she will prick her finger on a spindle and fall into a sleep for all eternity." That means she would sleep forever. But the fairy godmothers heard this curse and quickly added, "Unless she is kissed by her one true love, at which point she will awake and live out her days unharmed and happy." Good thing for those fairy godmothers, because guess what happened next? Despite all the efforts of the king and queen, the princess came upon a spindle the very day she turned 18. Spindle is this thing right here, and at the very top there's a really sharp point. She picked it up and felt the prick of her finger right away. She suddenly fell to the ground in a deep sleep. Let's talk about the setting so far. Where do you think Sleeping Beauty is right now? What do you think? Let's look around. I see a floor, I see walls, I see a fireplace. I think over here that might be a bed. So I think she's in a house, some kind of house. Do you think she's in any house, or do you think maybe she's in a castle? Let's keep reading and figure out where she is. Seeing this, the fairies rushed around and placed the kingdom and all who lived in it under an enchantment that they should sleep until the princess awoke. An enchantment means they put like a spell on the whole kingdom. So everyone's going to sleep until Sleeping Beauty wakes up. They also enchanted the forest around the kingdom so it would protect the castle from any harm. Many years passed by until one day, a handsome young prince from the neighboring kingdom was riding through the woods when he came upon the enchanted forest. He ventured into the forest, which let him pass, for he meant no harm. Remember, the forest is enchanted. That means it's magical, and it's supposed to let good people in and bad people out. So because the prince is good, he was allowed in. Arriving at the castle, he was shocked to find all the sleeping people and the perfectly preserved kingdom. Oh, look right here. What do you think that is? That's a castle. Who do you think lives there? Yeah, I think Sleeping Beauty lives in that castle. Let's see. Searching the castle, he found the room where the princess slept. There, he beheld the girl he instantly knew was his one true love, his Sleeping Beauty. And though the princess was sleeping, the prince couldn't help but lean toward her and give her a gentle kiss. And then the princess woke up. There are only a very small number of one true love kisses throughout history. This was one of those kisses. As the princess and the entire kingdom awoke, she was stunned to see the man she knew she would marry one day. There's that castle again. And look, you can see they're kind of walking away from it, so that means she was in the castle. Over the next few years, the prince and princess spent almost all of their waking moments together, getting to know one another and falling in love. Eventually, they married in the happiest ceremony either kingdom had ever known, and they lived happily ever after. The end. So, let's figure out where the setting is. So let's look right now. Do you think she's in any house, or do you think she's in a big, giant castle? What do you think? Does it look like any house? No, it looks pretty fancy, right? So let's go back. Remember this part? It looks like they're walking away from a castle. So I think that's Sleeping Beauty's castle. What do you think? Let's look. Look, it looks like she's in the castle again, sleeping. And look, there's the castle. Oops. There's the castle again. And she's in her bed sleeping again. So what do you think the setting for the story is? Where was Sleeping Beauty most of the time? Yeah, she was in the castle. So the setting of Sleeping Beauty is a castle. But today, we're going to come up with our own setting. So I want you to think of a fairy tale that you could write about, or maybe a fairy tale that you read before, and think about a setting that you know. Or maybe your favorite place. It can be real or make-believe. So in Jack and the Beanstalk, the real setting was his house, because houses are real, right? We all live in a house. And so did Jack. So that was a real setting, but the make-believe setting was a castle. Castles aren't real. So this was real, the house, and this was make-believe, the castle. My setting that I'm going to draw is going to be a little bit of both. When I was thinking about this, I realized that I really, really love the ocean. So my setting is going to be in the ocean. So I'm going to draw the ocean here. But I really love castles too. So I'm going to draw a castle in the ocean. That's going to be my setting. I think that's pretty cool. What do you think? There's the door. What do you think? Does it look like a castle so far? Let's see. I can add one more thing right here. Okay. So I have my castle in the ocean. I'm going to add a little sun up here too. So there's my make-believe setting. So if I was going to write a fairy tale, this would be my setting. A castle in the ocean. Now I'm going to color this. When I color the ocean, what color should it be? What color is the real ocean? Is it yellow? No, it's not yellow. Is it red? No, not red. What color is it? The ocean's blue. So the first thing I'm going to do is color my blue ocean. When you draw your own setting, I want you to use real colors too. I don't want to see a blue ocean because that's not the real color of the ocean. Oops. So let me color my ocean. Try to color neatly too. Try to stay inside the lines and use real colors. Okay, almost done. What do you think your setting is going to be? If you were going to write your own fairy tale, where would it take place? It could be something real, like maybe in someone's house, maybe even in a school, wherever you want it to be. Or it could be make-believe, like a castle. Whatever you want. I did a little bit of both. The ocean's a real place, but castles aren't real. So it's a little bit of both. Okay, I'm almost done coloring. Okay. Okay, that's good. Perfect, there's my ocean. Now I'm gonna color in the castle. What color should my castle be? Maybe it could be like a gray color. They want to make it kind of dark. So I'm gonna make like a light black color. I think castles can be whatever color you want them to be. It can be a light color like a pink or purple, or it can be dark. Castles are make-believe, so that means they can be whatever color you want. Okay. Okay, there's my castle. Now I'm gonna color the path right there. Let's see if I have like a brown color. There we go. I'm gonna make it brown. Kind of looks like sand. Okay, last thing, I'm gonna color in my sun. The sun is a real thing, so I have to use the real color for the sun. Am I gonna use purple to draw the color of the sun? No, I'm gonna use yellow. Right like this. Okay, there's my setting. There's a castle in the ocean. That's the setting of my fairy tale. If I was gonna write my own fairy tale, it would take place in a castle in the ocean with the sun shining. So this week when you're at home, I want you to think about your own fairy tale, and I want you to draw a setting just like I drew mine. Make sure you think of a real place or a make-believe place that you want your story to take place in, and then you can draw a picture. When you're done drawing it and you colored it nice and neatly, I want you to take a picture of it, and I want you to send it to Mrs. Clark on Class Dojo, because we both want to see what you drew. Have fun. Bye.